Welcome back, guys. Today's video is going to be a little different. Today I am painting my buddy's SSX23. Normally I have been painting a lot of weapons, a lot of pistols, a lot of gear, and I don't really document it or make any videos of it, but today I just kind of wanted to touch base, kind of show you my technique and what I'm doing and how I do things. For instance, before you paint, right here I am plugging in all the holes. Like you're plugging the inner barrel, and you're plugging the mag well where the mag goes in, and you tape off everything that you do not want painted, like that serial number right there. Just basically you want to tape off everything that you do not want to get paint in or on. So yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna speed up the video like to probably 4 times the speed, just so that I don't bore you with the slow process of what I'm doing. I'll explain throughout the video in each section about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Typical things that you want to cover are close off, so that you make sure you don't paint in or on, is the sights. Definitely don't want to paint the sights. The other one is serial number, which is kind of optional, depending on whether you want to, just in case you need to send the gun back in, they can have that serial number to reference that is the one gun or weapon that you purchased. The mag weld, the hop-up unit, usually whenever you can access the hop-up unit, and the nozzle where you put the green gas in. These things are the things you kind of want to tape off. As you see here, I am applying the first base coat. You choosing the color of the base coat is very critical and important to this, because this is going to be your main color across the entire weapon. I chose to do army green because I'm going to do an earth brown and a dark army green or forest green on top of this. So I don't have positive imagery, I have negative imagery. When you're painting, I'm leaving the space of the item behind. I'm not actually painting the actual space. I'm painting around the actual item. So the reason why I do that is so that when I do the light colored base paint and then I paint over a fern or something with a dark brown or a dark green, it shows through as if it's a light green fern. You definitely want to make sure that when you're painting, you are about 6 inches away from the item, so you're not too close, because if you're too close, then you're gonna have a chance of putting too much paint in one area. Number 2, I would definitely not consistently hold down the spray thing. Do like a burst as you go through, so that you have more control and less paint going over the whole thing. When you do paint one side, like I'm doing right now, give it time to let it dry, and then as it dries, then reapply the next coat and the next coat until you're satisfied. Once you paint 3 to 4 coats for your base, you want to flip the gun over and then paint the other side the same way as well, and just take the same steps that you did to the other side as you're going to do this side. After putting 3 to 4 layers on, you want to do a 360 inspection just to see if you missed anything that needs to be retouched up or added to. Sometimes you don't notice that the certain angles you miss things, so yeah, just make sure that you got it all. Now I scooted the camera closer because this is when now I'm going to start applying the texture and the foliage printing, and I wanted to make sure that the camera was close enough that you could kind of see what I'm doing. This is where I actually inspected it and made sure I saw, and I noticed there's a few spots that I missed, so that's why I'm doing right now, is doing the touch-ups. These are the 3 things that I'm using to paint with, and then I'm also going to use the mesh. The mesh I'm going to use first to give kind of a texture, and just lay it down flat and make sure that you don't paint the entire thing, just paint stripes, different types of locations at different angles, just to kind of give it a pattern. I prefer a little bit bigger netted mesh. This is almost too fine grained, but it still worked out pretty good. Keeps you from being able to give like a full layer. You have like a little bit of a texture layer. After that, then I proceed to lay the fern down and then paint over it with the dark green. So basically, when I lay the fern down, I'm painting on the outskirts of the fern, not the actual fern itself. So I'm doing a negative imprint onto the gun. And then when I do that, I place it on where the brown is, so that the texture of the brown is where the fern is. Now, working with these two little bitty pieces of foliage, you have to be careful because it's so 3D that you make sure that you push really firm against the gun. Because if you don't push firmly against the gun, you're going to get a big blob of paint behind it, and you're not really going to get the actual outline of the item. Whereas I pushed really good on the magazine, as you can see, and you can see the true outline of the actual item. And when I do paint, I don't just paint the same pattern over and over. I turn it upside down, opposite side, I spin it around, I place it in multiple versions, multiple angles, so that you get like a pattern, but not a pattern. Now I'm taking the mesh and I'm spraying paint through the mesh, but from above, so it gives like a spritz, kind of like a starry pattern. And then I'm just dabbing it with that pattern so that it don't leave just a blob. You actually get the actual pattern. And now I'm doing the other side of it. And I'm basically redoing the same process over and over, just different angles. I personally like doing the minimum of 3 colors. If you could go 5 is better, but 3 is your good starter base, so that you have not only different colors but different patterns. And the more colors, the more patterns you have, the better it breaks up the silhouette of your gun. And the great thing about when you're camouflaging your gun, if you make a mistake, it's okay. It's not the end of you don't have to start over. You just basically spray the one side that you messed up on with the base paint again, and overcover whatever you messed up, and then restart again, just that one spot. And as you can see here, I rotated the parts to expose the sides that I have not yet got touched or painted yet. And that's exactly what you want to do. When you want to paint it, let it dry, rotate it, paint it, let it dry, and just keep hitting every different angle that you possibly can. And now that I've painted it and I've given the pattern I like, I'm taking out all the plugs and the tape off, and basically getting it ready for assembly. All right, here's the final look. I like it. I like the way it turned out. I think it looks really good. I am going to add a few things before I give it back to him, and yeah, I'm very happy. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you really enjoyed it. Hopefully this helps you kind of get an idea of how to maybe paint your gun if you've never done this before. I'm always up for any questions if you put down in the comments down below, and we'll see you in the next video.